Watch me.
I am. I'm watching you.
Go tell my youngest brother. Where do we sit anywhere?
Hi, you guys.
How are you?
Good afternoon. My name is Deborah Rutter, and I am going to start with a few comments and then turn it over to the questions that you, please have a seat, have submitted in advance, and then we'll have time for you to ask questions in the moment as well. So thank you all for coming. It's great to see you. Frankly, it's also great to be seen. We have taken the liberty of taking off our masks, but we here at the Kennedy Center are following the strictest protocols. So we've all been vaccinated. We've all been tested. I think we've all been tested every single day. All of the artists are being tested. All the people around are being tested, even though most everybody has been vaccinated as well. So we are feeling really great and really positive. This has been a tough year for all of us. I hardly need to make a statement about that, but we are absolutely thrilled that we've been able to go forward with these 43rd honors. And I can't tell you what a pleasure it has been for me, not just to make the first phone call to invite them to be a part of this class, but then to spend time with them. Most of them I either have known or been a long admirer or have worked closely with over quite a number of years. So these are very, very special days for us here at the Kennedy Center and for me personally. We chose to invite you to this space and in this way because in a few short hours we will be having our own version of the annual medallion ceremony. That ceremony usually takes place at the State Department. But as we were getting close to the final details of thinking we might be able to be at the State Department, it became clear that at that time, the administration was not holding events, and they still are not holding events. So here we are in not the Benjamin Franklin room, but I ask you, is there a more beautiful setting for anything like this? So we're absolutely thrilled, and I am thrilled to be on this stage. Now, I promise I will not be dressed in street clothes for the medallion ceremony, but we invited them to be beautiful and handsome in this way for you all. This is not a new setup, I will say, though. For some of you in the media and some of our guests, I know you have been here, but this was created last fall, and so we've had maybe up to a dozen or more performances in this way, on this stage, looking out into the theater. So we will remember this bleak year in the few moments of joy that we've been able to have sitting on stage in the Opera House, looking out into the audience. The format for this year has changed pretty dramatically as well. So last night we had a magnificent performance recognizing each of our honorees in the concert hall with the members of the National Symphony Orchestra participating. And then we will have our medallion ceremony tonight. And then on Saturday, we will have another performance on the Reach Plaza, celebrating again all of our honorees. We've had a really exciting week where we have been filming tributes all over the campus. And I mean all over the campus. We're thrilled to be able to show the beauty of Washington, D.C. and the Kennedy Center and all of its facilities and the venues that will be a part of the broadcast on June 6th. I will stop now. You didn't come here to talk to me. You always get to talk to me in any case, and I'll move to questions. And I'm going to move to the side so that you can actually see and hear from the artists themselves. We're going to start with, these are all questions. Maybe the first one was ours, but we'd like to hear from each of the artists on this topic. So what does this moment mean to you, particularly as we emerge from the past year and can finally experience the live performing arts again? So, Debbie, would you like to start?
Sure. This moment is an incredible achievement for me and my entire family and my entire community, all the people that have been involved in my life, the people that have supported me, the people that got in my way, made me stronger. This is the highest achievement I do believe an artist can receive. I've been involved with all the awards, the Emmys, the NAACP Image, the Grammy, the Tony, the Oscars. But this award, which is really for one's body of work, is so impactful, and I have to say humbling for me, who has worked here for decades at the Kennedy Center. Very humbling, and it is an acknowledgement of my work, but also a level of respect that is so appreciated. And I think also in this moment, after the last 4 years, it is taking a breath again and breathing life back into why the performing arts are so vital in our lives and in our children's lives.
Thank you, Debbie. Joan, would you like to go next?
Oh, yes. Hello? I just turned 95, so I'm happy to be anywhere. Because if I known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. I have no idea why I'm here, but I can't be more thrilled. You know, I don't think anybody goes into entertainment to win an award, exactly. But, you know, recognition from your peers is always a comfortable thing, kind of the icing on the cake. But this moment is, this is, you know, Westminster Abbey. It's got the highest award. I can't believe it.
That's great.
It's really the capper for my life. How I got here, I don't know, and I'm not going to ask.
Thank you, Dick. That's fantastic. Now, Joan.
Yeah, I think that Deborah's already said it about feel as though we're coming out of a dark tunnel, and there's a possibility again for arts and culture. And I looked up the word honor, and there isn't another word for it, really, as a verb. So to be honored for the connection of music and social action and culture and et cetera, and the highest honor really that exists in this country is very rewarding for me. And the other thing I have to say was that Sturgill Simpson showed up for me last night, and that was a highlight. Thank you.
Midori, I'm going to ask you to speak next. I'm hoping that you can all see. Thank you.
Thank you. There is no way to describe this moment. It is so special. And of course, I'm greatly humbled, but I'm thrilled 43 times over, as this is the 43rd time that you're actually having these events. And I remember as a child having been a part of the tribute team with one of my mentors, Pinchas Zuckerman, coming to Washington, D.C. to honor Natan Milstein. And that was so exciting back then, but being here today on this occasion is extremely special. And I would say that, as it has been said so many times already in the past few days, that coming out of this very dark times of the pandemic, to be able to see the arts coming back into our lives again, live, in person, it is especially something that I'm each time very moved by. I feel very much that this occasion being honored is also an encouragement for me, as well as a motivation for me to be able to continue to connect with others, to collaborate, to create, and to go and participate in creating the new normal and the new future. So I'm greatly, greatly honored to be here tonight.
So Garth, not last, not least, it's Garth Brooks. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I have to say that an award is only as good as the names that are on it. That's it. And when you walk in that door and you see the list of names, and then you sit in this group and get to be a part of this, pretty cool. You know, and for the first time in my life, I don't mind being the weak link in the chain. I'm in the chain. That's this is a cool thing, and just feel very, very lucky to be among people that look at life this way. instead of an ending award, like I'm going, wow, this is pretty cool to be here, you're saying it's going to encourage you to do even more. It's a beautiful way to look at it, man. So I think just getting to be among this level of character is good for me. I feel very lucky.
Beautiful. So one of the submitted questions I'm going to use as a follow-up to you, Garth, so that's why I used you at last. Okay. If you were using this moment as inspiration for a song, what do you think the title would be?
Ooh. All the good things. No, I do. I mean, I'm looking at character and discipline here. You can't see this woman without looking at courage. Cool is a passing thing. You can't be cool decade after decade after decade. You're cool, always. It kills me. And then I think timeless is the word you would use for Dick Van Dyke. I mean, I was telling him yesterday, if he shaved the beard, he'd look exactly like he did when I was a kid. It's like, and then, you know, him doing, they said, hey, look, he's going up the stairs. Take a look after him. He scared me to death, and he did that on purpose right there, you know? This is the last guy that needs anybody looking out after him. And just so to try and be that to somebody, that's what it is. So all the good things would be the song that.
All the good things.
Yes.
Let's watch for that, the new song. Midori, so you started performing publicly at a really young age. This is the famous story of Midori. And you've been playing the staples of the violin repertoire and so much more as well. But you've been playing it for a really long time. How do you keep your performances fresh? How do you keep them vital? How do you bring something, a new idea, to every performance?
I think that in each of the great works that I get to play, there's just so much in there that it's always something new. There's always something new to be discovered, to be heard, to be explored, to be experimented with. And of course, the more I get to know each of these pieces, the more I recognize that I know so little about it. And it encourages me to actually look even further, deeper, try out new ideas. And of course, our world is changing. I think with music, it's so encompassing. We are actually the music itself. We become one with music. And because we are influenced by what goes on around us, we feel, we interpret, we sense different things in these pieces whose notes haven't changed, but the meaning for us have changed. And so there's nothing ever to be tired of. There's always something new, and it continues to be so.
Thank you. Debbie, your work spans so many genres and forms. Is there one guiding principle or idea that holds true for you across all of the work?
Yes, I would say what holds true is to find the truth. The truth. And this is some things that I've written myself. Quite a few of them I wrote. Some of them I directed, some I choreographed. But trying to find the truth that makes it alive for the audience. Truth that will make it connect. Truth that will bring an energy and a response. A response.
Truth, another good thing to live by. Okay, Mr. Van Dyke.
Thank you.
Of all...
I couldn't hear you over there.
That's okay. Of all your wonderful performances, what is one that has special meaning for you? Tell us one that sticks in your memory.
My best memories are from the 5 years of our series we did with Carl. It was just, everybody looked forward to coming to work every day. It was so much fun, and nothing he wrote was in stone. We all got to, you know, put our 5 cents in, and we just couldn't wait for the audience to get and see us. It was never work. I just loved every minute of it. And I'm loving every minute of this.
And we love it every minute of it as well. We've been recounting them over the last few days. I'm moving away from you, Joan, because I don't want to be in the camera shot. You and your songs continue to be pivotal in progressing the fight for civil rights. What is your reaction to the social and civil rights reckoning our country is experiencing today?
Well, one of the things that's helpful is that it's bringing out white supremacy to be what it is, that we see it more clearly. What's been helpful to me is to look for the racism in me, because we all have some and we all sort of think that we don't. It remains to be seen whether seeing it more clearly as white supremacy and people who are really suffering under that, whether we come through that having learned from it, or whether we kind of go under with it. I think from the last 4 years, we can't do anything but come up and learn something and try to help people experience a healthy life, no matter what your status is and no matter what your color is. But I think the key word that we've been avoiding all these years is white supremacy, and that's what's been driving a lot.
Thank you. Garth, you have a special person here this evening. Is it okay if I recognize her? Please. Miss Tricia Yearwood is here. Hi, Tricia. Welcome. You and Tricia really have embraced live streaming, and you've done so much from Studio G during this pandemic. What have you learned about your connection with fans, and they with you, during the past year, that you feel you've learned from that you didn't know before?
Wow, that's tough. Forgive me for this answer. Nothing. It's funny, you don't have to have the big stage. You can show up in jeans and a ball cap, and they treat you the same way as if you're live on stage in front of a stadium. So I think what I've learned is they've always allowed me to be who I am, fat, whatever, skinny, old, young, on pitch, off pitch, good night, bad night. They've seriously, and you're talking to a woman who we met a year after she moved to Nashville and a year after I moved. So since '87, we've known each other. Before we had record deals together. And I think she can vouch for this, that, well, the gentleman that's sitting 2 seats over him, Bob Doyle, is the first manager, first publisher since day one guy. I think they both would say this, that the people have always treated Garth Brooks the same on good days and bad days. And you talk about a sweet gift. That'd be it.
Thank you. Midori, you have become very well known for your work giving back. I'm wondering if you can tell us what in your experience has drawn you and helped you create Midori and Friends, and tell us a little bit about this commitment to serving young people who often don't have the resources to have the same experiences with music.
First, I would say that it means so much to me to be able to connect with young people. I'm passionate about it, and this is what inspires me, what actually makes what I do so meaningful. I would also say that there isn't a particular point in my life that got me interested in working in the community or working with younger musicians or bringing music to communities where they have less access to the performing arts. But that it was something that came out very naturally out of my desire to be living together in this community with others. And I really don't think that there was any more specific reason than that before I started. Once I started, however, I noticed that my thinking was so simple and so simplistic as well, and that there was so much that needed to be done. And as I recognized this, it just kept me going and going and going, and I couldn't stop. And then I started to notice that problems changed, our world changed. Some problems got solved, new problems were created, and that it's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process to be able to walk toward the future. And it's a process that I greatly enjoy. And I can't think of my life without doing this with the communities, with the children, with the young people, also with the elderly, with the population that are marginalized. And so I'm grateful to be able to do it. It doesn't matter how it got started in the way. I had a wonderful support to be able to take it off the grounds. But beyond that, this has been a nonstop learning experience and something that had never ceased to give me pleasure as well as wonderful stimulation and inspiration.
Thank you. So Debbie, can we talk about TV?
Okay.
So from Fame to Grey's Anatomy and the different roles you've played and the different ways in which your perspective has changed, tell us what you think, how it has changed over the decades, really. The genre, what is TV, what does it mean in our life today?
Oh, television has expanded. First of all the networks. There was a day when it was ABC, CBS, and NBC, and then it was CNN, then it was Fox, and now there's CW, there's streaming, Disney Plus. I mean, there's so many different venues that stream, or, you know, so many different ways you can go. But also, television has opened up in its diversity in a very inclusive way that was not quite so. I mean, I grew up watching television as a kid. I only saw Julia. I saw, you know, Diane Carroll, and I saw not much else. Mm-hmm. And then by the time I was doing Fame, I was the only woman in the room most of the time, and certainly the only black person in the room. I did the Oscars almost, 10 times. I was often the only woman in the room, and certainly the only black person in the room when it came to creative decisions. And so that has changed, because now we have a wide palette upon which so many different showrunners and actors are painting their palettes on television. It wasn't quite so many years ago, and I think it's good because it's opening up. It's going to just open further. It still has a way to go. I was instrumental in developing the Women's Entertainment Network, and I remember I launched a show called Cool Women, and every press conference I had, they say, well, why do women need a channel? I'm like, huh? What? Did you really say that? Okay. So we're expanding, and I'm in a place of authority where I see it very clearly, because I have hired more women to direct network television than any. And this was before any Me Too or anything. I just knew growing up that I didn't have opportunity, and women are so capable and they need opportunity. And certainly more black people. And then it is turned around a little bit where the young white male is somewhat the endangered species. And I've been hiring some really talented white boys that I love. That's right, I would say it out loud, it's true. Because I think we have to keep that space open. And we have to look at things with open eyes and with your third eye that sees beyond what's right in front of your face. So.
Well, I think probably everybody knows, but I hope you don't mind if I underscore the comment that Shonda Rhimes made, because she gets lots of credit for being an important black woman with influence in the business. And she says, and she's...
How deaf I am. I can't hear anything.
And Shonda credits Debbie Allen. She says, Debbie Allen was the first one. She was the leader.
That's quite a compliment. Thank you, Shonda Rhimes. Thank you. What can I say? It's a lot of work, many years of work, and that's what I do. I keep my hands on the plow.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, Mr. Van Dyke, I'm right here. They're out there.
Thank you.
So, you told us that you loved the show, your show, the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what you got from that show that influenced your work, the subsequent work that we all know and love of yours, and also maybe how it influenced others.
I don't know if I influenced anybody or not, but Carl had a good idea in the beginning. He said, I don't want to hear anything about the news of the day or any slang from the day because the show won't, you know, and by guys, it worked, and even the clothes are almost back in style now.
That's true.
But Carl, he said, I want everything to be believable. I don't care how crazy it gets, as long as it could possibly happen. So that's what we always did. When we wanted to get nuts, we did a dream sequence. And we just lost them a few months ago, and it left a hole.
Yeah. Joan, how do you believe, protest music has evolved? If so, how? And who are the artists and how are they using this work, carrying this forward?
Well, I think the backdrop to that is important, which is a 10-year period during which time there was this explosion of talent and people who were willing to get involved in good trouble. And what was happening politically and all around us also helped move us together. And then another phenomenon was the fact that many people like myself happened upon the folk scene when we did, and it was counterculture at that point. You know all the names, the Joni Mitchells and the Dylans and eventually the Beatles and the Rolling Stones were kind of a counterculture, but then it came up to being the culture. And then the grandparents and the kids and everybody heard it and was exposed to it. And so now we're looking for that to happen again. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that will happen again. I do think there are many writers out there writing meaningful songs. I think they have a difficulty finding a platform. I mean, what is the platform today? And so I would encourage young songwriters to be willing to take a risk and to move into the good trouble. And if somebody says why, I would say if you don't do that, you're missing all the fun.
Good. So I have a few more questions here, but I thought I would, before we take up too much more time, that I would open it up to members of the press if you have questions here. Yes. Oh, here comes the microphone.
Sure, the question is about the White House ceremony and what that was like.
The what?
The White House ceremony. How did you feel yesterday at the White House?
It was wonderful. It was so wonderful. Mr. President was so engaging and so open and spent a lot more time with us than we thought, right?
Yes.
Than he thought, I think.
And something very special happened, Joan.
Yeah, it did. He was just free with us to tell stories, and he got rolling, and then let's go see the Rose Garden, or go see the bathhouse, or go see whatever it was. We were all in kind of a state of shock because it turned out to be such a jolly romp. It really was.
And did you do anything in the Oval Office?
Sorry?
Did you do anything in the Oval Office?
Yeah, I did. I sang, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around. Turn me around, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking, keep on singing, keep on swinging. Gonna build a brand new world.
Yes.
This question is for Mr. Van Dyke. You've had a spectacular career. What are you planning on doing for an encore?
I didn't get it. I'm sorry.
What are you planning to do for an encore? You've had a spectacular career. What are you doing for an encore?
I think the next thing's knighthood. You can't beat this.
Sure. Given that this is such an unusual time and an unusual week, How has this been for you going through this in such a different way?
For anybody in particular?
For anybody, yes.
Well, I don't know if everyone knows how different it is since it's the first time that they're honorees. I might know because I've been involved, and the biggest difference is the massive crowds, the massive parties where we're all tight together. But there's another aspect of it that is more personal because it's more one-on-one. I mean, we're spending probably more time together than most honorees ever did because we're always together. I don't know.
I think that's been, I don't know what it was like before, but that's been the cohesive and lovely part for me about this group thing.
Yeah, we've been hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, you performed here before plenty of times for the honorees. So remember, everything that is a blessing is a curse, and everything that is a curse is a blessing. Maybe the curse is that we're all separated without the crowds, but the blessing has been the level of sincerity. So, I mean, as a performer, for a lot of these people, you see them being dragged around a lot from here to there. We've got to move at our own pace. We've got to enjoy our own people to where well, I can speak for me. I leave here as a fan of these people more than as a fellow honoree, actually, because, like you said, you've got to know them. You've got to know the people that they're with, too. That's the fun part.
Hi there. I'm Judy Kurtz with the Hill newspaper. This is a question for you, Garth.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry about the mask, if
You're
you can hear
fine.
me.
Thank you for it.
You performed at the presidential inauguration, and you had said that it's a way to serve your country.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you expect to serve your country in other ways with the Biden administration? A lot of celebrities have been teaming up with the administration to promote COVID vaccines and in other ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's the truth is this. So politically, I stand with this. I believe in love. That's it. And I believe for the best person for the job, whatever that person is. And love is going to be a big thing to get my vote. So my thing is, if you ask, I'll be happy to serve this country. I don't get to do it in the honor that my father did as a former Marine, as my brothers did in the Air Force and in the Army. So this is my way to contribute. And if the call is, we're all kind of sending love. We're all kind of finding a way to, for me, there's a gap right now. We got to build that bridge. We got to. And the only way you're going to build a bridge is open these, probably shut this a little bit, you know, and try and figure that out. Because I had a buddy, sorry, I know you didn't want this long-winded answer. We had a buddy that just got her citizenship, and we'd known her forever, didn't know she was a citizen. She got her citizenship, and so they ask you to come with them when they get their citizenship. And you're crying like a baby the whole time because there's things you totally forgot and taken for granted as a citizen. But when they do the Pledge of Allegiance, one word stands out. It's indivisible. Right now we're divided. Right now we need to fix that. So if my service is somehow getting to help that, because it's going to take every one of us, count me in.
David Smith, right next to me from The Guardian, is asking about the pandemic and its impact on artists and what you believe that the government could or should be doing to assist with artists at this time, for anyone.
Is this everyone?
Yes, this is for anyone.
Well, I think that they're working really hard to subsidize people in general. And the art world has suffered tremendously, especially the performing arts and visual arts, because museums have been closed, the venues have been closed, musicians have been out of work, dancers out of work, actors out of work, directors out of work, stagehands out of work, wardrobe people out of work. So when you say the artist, you have to look at a big, you're looking at a wide picture. And I think the best thing the government can do is what is happening now, pushing to solve these challenges with COVID-19 so we learn how to live with this demon among us, so that we can open our theaters, so we can open our dance schools, so children can go back to school. The suicide rate with young people right now, it is upsetting. And the isolation has been just awful, worse than what people talk about. I know we talk about certain things, but that, and so whatever the government can do, which I think they are trying to do, is reopen so people will feel comfortable getting vaccinated, so we can all come to the Kennedy Center, so we can all go to school. The isolation is the part that we need to solve. That's the greatest problem I see.
Can I ask one last question? This is a fun question. So, Joan, I know you have a special guest joining you tonight. That would be Dr. Anthony Fauci. So I'm kind of curious how you got to know him and how you extended the invitation.
Yeah, I painted a portrait of him because I do portraits and put them online. And he saw it through a friend of mine, and we talked on the phone. It was a mutual fanship. I wanted to tell him how, you know, everything he was doing, and he wanted to tell me about the 60s and the 70s, so et cetera. So since then, we've texted periodically, and a lot of it's being kind of silly, and a lot of it's not. You know, I mean, I could call and ask him directly the questions that all of us have and find a way around or figure it out, but he's Mr. Science, so there he was. And for this evening, I just texted and said, would you like to come to the black tie event at the Kennedy Honors? And he responded and said, I would love to. There's one little glitch. Will you call me in an hour? So I called him, and before he could say what the glitch was, I said, Tony, you're not going to tell me that the sexiest man in the world doesn't have a tuxedo, are you? He said, no, I have a tuxedo. So.
Well, I can tell the story, which is that he wanted to know what the safety protocols were, and we were able, the safety protocols, what are the safety protocols, how many people will be there? And of course, that was several weeks ago, and now we're in a totally new world, of course. Anyway, well, thank you all very much. Thank you to the honorees. This is something new and different, and you can give us the feedback about how it was for you. And thank you all for your care, your concern, and for your goodwill. And I look forward to welcoming you back to the Kennedy Center in all its glory very soon. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We ask that you do exit the way you came in, back and to your left. Thank you.